So they'll be calling you a radical. So it's time. Real honestly, I call them the Ogden 3. I know there's a lot more, but it's a good start. I mean, come on. We got Ogden, named after a person who never set foot here. You know, don't even get me going about that creep. Peter Steen. So, this is Monroe Boulevard. Now, really, named after presidents? Come on. We've changed the name of that school how many times? That's the original Ogden High. Central Junior High. James Madison. I mean, presidents? We changed the name of Ogden. It used to be Brownsville. You know? So, I won't stop there. So, it's time because this is important. Oh, Weber State's got the Western Riders Alliance. So I talked to those. Don't even get me going. Bernard DeVoto's house right there. So, by the soup can. Up your can, Blanch. Here in Ogden, Utah. So, let's talk about this. Well, these streets were all have changed names. You know, they were named after presidents of the Mormon Church. Jefferson used to be Joseph Smith Street. Grant used to be Brigham Young Street. So, you know, throw them off. I like Kiesel. He's the one who kicked them out. He's the mayor then. He named a street after himself. So, it's time. So I'm talking to him. He's from Germany. Good university. It's like, oh yeah, blah blah. Tell me about it. Somebody from Germany. Yeah, I says, please. There's plenty of people in Ogden know all about DeVoto. I've been, you know, we used to have the DeMar DeVoto thing. So I says, oh, you're the expert. Okay, I asked him. So what's your favorite book? Well, so I says, what about 44? What's that? I said, you've never read any of his books, have you? Well, I'll be honest with you, no. Across the way, Missouri on Balco, on chemo. But they're experts. They're experts. So, what, because they say they are? No, they're not. There's plenty of experts around here. Where are they going to get? They got no platform. So, it's funny because this place is a trip. I've always blown my mind, you know. This building is always blown everybody's mind. It's right here. So, but oh my God, what happened? One of the most famous marquees in Ogden's missing. Copper Bakery. What a cool sign. It's gone. What? So we need to change the name. Monroe, really? I mean, what do any of these presidents really have anything to do with Ogden? Nothing. Well, the Roosevelts did. Teddy was here a lot. I'm all for a Roosevelt Street. Well, we don't have a Roosevelt Street. We don't have a Roosevelt Street. What? So, it's time. Monroe Boulevard needs to be changed to Bernard DeVoto Avenue. Jefferson, which is so irony because on the corner of Jefferson and 25th, one of the most marquee intersections in Ogden, is the old Weber State University. One of the youngest female professors in history, the only female history dean in America, first one in American history. You know, probably the greatest female historian. Well, maybe the greatest historian. She wrote Jefferson's biography. Dixon's biography. All men know my history. Fawn McKay Brody. By the way, the great counterculturist, her mother, Fawn Brimhall. I mean, I'd even be fine just name it Fawn, after them both. I mean, her mother was something. We need to change Monroe to Bernard DeVoto Drive. Bernard DeVoto Avenue. So, the big three. I know there's a lot more in Ogden, of course. But, you know, why did they name it after Ogden? I mean, if you're going to name it after one of the fur rapers, why didn't you name it, you know, Jim Bridger, Jedediah Smith? I get the Jedediah Smith. They confused with Joseph. I get all that. But what about, how come it didn't get named Miles Goodyear then? I don't know. I know why. But that's not what this video is about. You know, took the safe choice. So, name Jefferson renamed, needs to be named Fawn McKay Brody. Fawn McKay Avenue. Monroe needs to be changed the name to Bernard DeVoto Avenue. And then Grant. Grant used to be Brigham Young Street. That needs to be changed to Masaka. So, first player of color in the history of the NBA. 2 national championships, born and raised right there on the corner of 25th and Grant. Yep. Played with Vern Gardner in the NBA. He was a teacher at Bonneville High School. First round pick in the NBA, by the way. How about the great Arnie Farron? He's still kicking. They all played on that same national championship team in 1947 at the University of Utah, but all played in the NBA. Vern and Arnie have rings. Multiple NBA championship rings. Farron's from here. He's still kicking too. He's getting up there. Watt just passed away. But I loved it. Oh, there was other people, witnesses there, and I'm like, so you're the, gotta be Devin. I said, wait a minute. So I said, okay, let's talk DeVoto history. You want to get into it? Let's get into it. He wants to try to bad mouth us Ogdenites. Oh yeah, okay. It's 90 degrees here. New July, late September. Usually snows here now. What's your favorite book? Yeah. What about 44? What's that? How about the Centennial? He didn't even, what's that book? It's probably his most important. 100 Years of Mormonism right here. Wow. By the way, this town was all run by madams for decades and decades and decades. It was all prostitution. The madams. Annabelle. You know, Belle. We can go. That's who ran this city. That's just an unarguable fact. It wasn't that long ago. So, he wrote about it. Across the White Missouri is a masterpiece, by the way. All his work's a masterpiece. Born and raised right there. I'll tell you a great story. He used to rail on Ogden. Thought he was good. He's the dean at Harvard. He's Harper's publicist. That's why he had to print Mark Twain's work. When Mark Twain went on his incredible rant, when Mark Twain declared himself the anti-imperialist, in 44 he says, who would dare punctuate Mark Twain? He says, I had to put a comma somewhere. So he's driving from Harvard with Olson the poet. They're driving from Harvard to Stanford. Speaking of supposed something rotten in the New Denmark, John Weber from Denmark, you know, it's all named after them. Alright, he spent time here, I guess, a little bit. I went to Western Weber Elementary, Weber High, Weber State, Weber, now it's Meber. What's the matter, you? Bullwinkles? The Moose Killers? No, that's the DNR. So, he slams on the brakes. And he says, what the hell are you doing? He said, I drove out of that godforsaken Weber County, because there's Weber County, Iowa. I won't drive back in it. You drive. So I call it gutting it out in Ogden. Ogden's a gem. Do not keep yourself. Buy the can. Buy the can. American can. Oh yeah, invented here. Across. Big centennial. Huh. The bicentennial. Hope I'm alive to see it. Change Monroe. I mean, really, after presidents? And changed before. Bernard DeVoto Avenue.